Welcome everyone to another special edition of compiling, doing and building what other big mega corporations, Mozilla, Linux Foundation and other such well-founded foundations can't do. Namely building the latest and greatest Firefox browser for SPARC 64 with 32-bit user land, aka SPARC32, V8 Plus or V9. Obviously, maybe even the world's first. Surely that might have been supported somewhere a decade ago or so. Maybe some other Linux distribution like maybe Debian. However, maybe rarely or not, because I had to fix so many things as usual. Day and night dedication, teaching my 3-year-old. So much was broken and strange that I'm not sure if this ever built at least for a decade or two. In this endeavor, I even had to patch LVM, right? So where are we? Quite some working content. So after day and night guru meditation, we are here. We built it. Actually, we should check that. I should have checked that before I went live. As usual, so happy and celebrating, throwing a party that I didn't even check further that it actually... I also didn't test it yet, right? So for testing you need to pay me, right? I'm only here to compile stuff, like fix stuff. For quality insurance, Patreon, GitHub sponsorship, YouTube, thanks or membership. And because obviously that is above my pay grade. Firefox bin, for example, so yeah, SPARC32 plus, V8 plus, aka V9. And for this I had to patch as usual, right? Previous video, Inexperienced 18-year-old fixes every open source package to build a working Linux distribution, 25 years in the making, and now passing it on to my little Padawan here. I had to patch LLVM, I had to patch Rust, I had to patch Firefox, and then obviously some and in between. And what is it for? That is even for running on a latest and greatest Sunblade 1000, 1500, 2000 or Sun Ultra 45, which I don't have. But we could test this on the Sunblade 1000 and also on the Sun T4 out of order, first out of order SPARC. So for that, so much stuff. Just to give this little summary here. For you also, ironically, I had patched Firefox. So I had patched the last. That's certainly also the first time this probably anyone ever has done with Rust. Ironically, like about 2 years ago, also here on this channel, I had the last non-Rust version actually starting, not segmentation faulting, on Ultra SPARC. Where did I don't even remember where I tested that on. Did I had already the Sunblade 1000? Maybe not. Maybe I had tested that on the Sun Ultra. Anyway, doesn't matter. So what are the issues? The issues are so many. I even had to patch LVM, right? It's like, if I say I need to patch every package, like in between patches, package, all of them, patch, it's like, yeah, 1690 patches, plus minus, give or take, and then some because architects. Anyway, so the issue is that LVM currently, maybe never, can generate, I mean, LVM previously is a mess for SPARC version 9, because the thing is, the first commercial SPARC either was version 7, and that didn't even have hardware multiply and divide. That is from the first SPARC station 1 and 2. Then was also SPARC version 8 with hardware multiply and divide, and then came SPARC version 9, which included 64-bit. And the mess is that while it technically is correct that SPARC version 9 means includes 64-bit, all the open source operating systems, including BSDs, usually use SPARC 64 to indicate building for SPARC 64-bit. And only Sun on Solaris maybe, which I don't use because slow Laris and stuff. But according to what I see in the sources, in all the sources and stuff, it looks like Sun internally or externally used SPARC version 9 to indicate 64-bit, which creates a huge mess. Previous video some weeks ago that now in LLVM we now have SPARC version 9, which is completely unintuitive and obviously caused some debugging here. Is it all in this here? I did this also yesterday already. I was one night and some more stuff in between. Yeah, so probably including that. So if you take LLVM and you try to build for 32-bit userland, similar to what everyone, like what Sun usually did, what SGI did on the Octane, which even Sony did for the PS3, and even Linux distributions did for SPARC Linux distributions. So this SPARC version 9 was widely used, right? Even 20 years ago, when there still was Red Hat support for that, or there was even this Aurora Linux of all the 2033 Linux distributions. Anyway, I patch around here for not mapping SPARC version 9, because the thing is, for better performance, not wasting precious memory, we prefer to run on this previously high-end but now low-end and vintage and retro or PS3. We prefer to run with 32-bit pointers so that we can use Ultra SPARC instructions, thus SPARC version 9, like what every sane, like basically how it is with nearly every other architecture, from ARM, ARM64, PowerPC, PowerPC 64, RISC-V, RISC-V 64, x86, x86-64, you get it, right? So I had to patch this mess, which thankfully mostly works. Then there are a couple of other things. So for example, currently LLVM, I have no idea if anyone ever used that. I mean, maybe the LLVM SPARC stuff is mostly unused. I wonder if ESA is using this in Geyser research for satellites and space rockets and Mars probes or whatever. But this would not link, right? So the binaries produced by LLVM would be SPARC, not 32 plus. So I hard code that here theoretically. That needs some more enablement code. Like I wanted to, it makes no sense to implement it super proper and spend an order of magnitude more time of YOLOing the proper bits in there, left and right. I first wanted to see if it even works. So if with just this patch some 3 weeks ago, it obviously didn't work because we couldn't link it together, because these binaries were then SPARC V8 and not V8 plus. So this is why yesterday already, was it yesterday, 13th, might have been yesterday, whenever, yeah, probably it was yesterday. Yesterday I patched the SPARC target streamer here in LLVM to set also SPARC 32 plus for V8 plus features, all this stuff. It's hard-coded, even that also needs some contains, starts with 8 arch triple and stuff. And then, so this is already messy enough, right? And also it's hilarious that each architecture has some bits here and there. It's like MIPS and x86 and so on. Then obviously Rust is like, it's like Rust, right? So the thing is, I can't even, I can't even commit all of this. Here's also other things I had already committed, probably. Further, oh, this was MIPS. SPARC is also crazy, so I believe nobody ever, like, I have no idea why there is some SPARC support in Rust, which it does work with a hello world. I have no idea if it works for anything more. I also, maybe nobody has used SPARC 32-bit with Rust for anything serious ever, because all the atomic stuff as usual fails. So we patch in, like, normally this would be a patch, but with the micro dependencies, like each download has again the micro dependencies bundled and so on. So we have some generic infrastructure. So what this does is, I tweak here our patching, so properly generating SPARC version 7, 8, 9, and 9b. Theoretically, I probably should, you know, the usual stuff my to-do can, before I retire. Theoretically, do I have here? I just recently, the other day, because I checked if this SPARC version 9 stuff really is a thing, and yes, of course it is, right? So this is widely known in all the GNU auto configure scripts. And I now found the other week that even SPARC version 9v is a thing, apparently theoretically for, like, I didn't make this up, right? So this is, if you tell me, but Sun did it that way, it's like, yeah, Sun is long dead, right? Long live SPARC. There is even in AutoConf and other packages SPARC version 9v for SPARC version 8 plus Ultra SPARC virtualization instruction stuff of Sun 4v. So yeah, theoretically we also could add further support for SPARC 9v if we ever would have too much time. The absolutely craziest stuff is, of course, that, and obviously I had to patch the SPARC targets right in Rust. I mean, obviously they have, it's like, yeah, I mean, obviously we're patching some stuff in for, all right, yeah, V8, V9, CPU, that's like, yeah. The absolute craziest stuff is also, it's absolutely crazy that our unexperienced YouTube channel, obviously we just tinker and don't know what we're doing for hobby here, that we do what the Linux Foundation and Mozilla Foundation and so on can't do, like keeping all those support alive, right? Because I have the same here already for PowerPC, and you need to share, like, subscribe, Patreon, GitHub sponsorship, YouTube membership, or just some super chats or thanks. So, because obviously this takes a little bit of time. So it is, I find it absolutely crazy that since a long time, at least since Firefox 81, but probably longer, 32-bit PowerPC does not compile at all, at least as far as I can test here. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I just need to entertain my 3-year-old after we fixed Firefox with some video. So PowerPC I patched for a long time, like 32-bit PowerPC for all the good old good G3 and G4 and stuff, because they decided to rename some stuff. So a long time ago is pointer data became is indirect, and I mean, obviously, right, so it's the usual stuff, Mozilla, Linux Foundation, Linux kernel. So we're currently renaming stuff just to sound nicer, look nicer, whatnot. So they renamed a long time ago, at least 3 years ago, maybe longer ago. They renamed is pointer data to is indirect, because that obviously makes so much more sense. They also renamed here some other stuff from pointer, now maybe that is just value or whatever. So that is PowerPC, which this may or may not work. Firefox is segmentation faulting. I still had no time to debug that. Shall I subscribe? I need to fix that too. Maybe this patch is only partially correct or whatever. But now we do this also for SPARC. So SPARC has exactly the same issue. Likely broken since at least 2020. So much to welcome to the last person on all of the interwebs who still builds Firefox for anything not mainstream, right? Because obviously, I mean, this is broken as long, similar to PowerPC, and it is so low-hanging, right? Such a laziness. The code is thankfully still there, which I appreciate that it's at least still there. But if I would have millions of finance in a Mozilla Foundation, there could at least be one intern who keeps all the other architectures at least compiling, right? Like, is it too much to ask to run SED over the whole bloody code base? So just what you have seen for PowerPC, no, for SPARC 32-bit 2. Ironically, for SPARC 64-bit, that compiles, right? So is pointer data is indirect, and here also pointer, now value P apparently. Actually, maybe I did this here. Is it val? Is this the same of, maybe this is wrong. We could actually check if, maybe, and that's also the win-win, right? I fix SPARC 32-bit, SPARC version 9 to compile ever, and maybe I found why my PowerPC patch is segmentation faulting, but obviously I didn't have time to, I mean, there's also some others, I have the indirect. So val p, let's see if, is this, yeah, maybe I did that wrong. So maybe we fixed Firefox. So share, like, subscribe, Patreon, all the other good celebration party and after work party. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I will obviously compile that in, give it one batch run here on this Ryzen 7 9, like epic thread that on this Ryzen, and test that tomorrow. And the absolutely craziest thing is that, did I, by the way, delete that already? We can delete that, that was just a test. And similar, I mean, yeah, we now have here some patches which let's hotfix Firefox for SPARC some more. It's just a couple of patches, which is not yet. What is this atomics, by the way? I lost overview. Ah, this is a search port. Wait a second. Maybe we don't need that anymore. Let's move hotfix. I might have automated that. Let's save that to disabled and use the time to build it again. SPARC 6432 to Firefox, because it should be covered by my more generic automated Rust patching. The absolutely craziest thing of all things, however, are two things. First, that Firefox does two stupid things. The one thing is, I find it already crazy enough that, because initially I wondered, like, is that even the right file, because it's Solaris, and for some crazy reason, all this XPTC invoke stuff here has absolutely crazy naming, right? There are names with OpenBSD, NetBSD, Solaris, and apparently, yes, this file is also for Linux. And there, for example, for SPARC 64, they have XPTC invoke sparc64 _ OpenBSD, which is used for all platforms. So I have no idea why they choose random names, because I wondered, like, this doesn't compile like Dew. Is that even meant for Linux? Yes, it is. Just the naming sucks. Wonderful. This is kind of, you waste time guru-meditating this nonsense, because already the file names are nonsensical. And then we have here also, it had, so I need to sort this. So I intentionally don't use the best names, because I always need to check out. Here's also third-party Rust CTY maybe needs SPARC support apparently. And it's like, yeah, I fixed some stuff, right? That didn't build, that also doesn't build. Like obviously a lot of stuff was never built for 32-bit SPARC. And one of those patches is, by the way, let's use CPU cycles. One thing is that this Firefox stuff mapped also SPARC version 9 to SPARC 64-bit, right? This is kind of stuff like that people don't realize, that these mappings are also nonsensical and not helpful and so on. Because, like, why should we use SPARC version 9 and SPARC 64 for 64-bit build? And then this crazy stuff that they even injected M64 for forcing the compiler in 64-bit mode, when in my opinion, if you build a package, you give it a compiler and stuff, and that what the compiler produces is built. No, they had to hardcode, like they don't support it, but hardcode and inject, like, hey, let's totally screw up and break the build with manually injecting M64 there for no good reasons. Oops, also. I wanted to check. I could have just, where is freaking my program? Let's see, I probably don't have the build here. That probably starts from nothing. But while we continue to summarize that, we have a build. So much to that. I have a build from the other day. So yeah, they had. I also had to patch the config not to map SPARC version 9 to SPARC 64 and force inject M64. But hey, after all of this, after patching LLVM, Rust, a couple of other things, Firefox a couple of times, I can build it now. And maybe it doesn't segmentation fault. But yeah, I need to run today. I spent enough time with my 3-year-old in the office teaching him how to fix next generation, how to fix open source packages. Actually, there is Firefox. What is here with... right, it probably built, right? Right, the previous patch build. Build, PowerPC. It just segmentation faulted, right? Yeah. Good, let's build to Firefox. And that is... obviously, I will next need to group... this is some other... target. Do I have here? Let's see, why do I have this twice? This is IOC. Why do I have here? They are both not. Okay, fine, whatever. Okay, then I will obviously merge them. So yeah, here's that. And the thing is, of course, it takes even 10 or 15 minutes to find this, right? Sure, at the end, of course, it's in build mods configure init configure. But if you are not a daily developer on Mozilla Firefox, I grabbed this. Obviously, you grab for SPARC version 9, for SPARC 64, you have matches all over the place, and obviously it takes 5 or 10 minutes to find the right place, and it has built. It's like, yeah, I mean, obviously, what could possibly go wrong if you map? They have even SPARC. I mean, they support something as stupid as SPARC of Sun4U, which maybe Sun used it. Of course, I know, but this is so silly, right? Sun4U is Ultra SPARC. I mean, this totally I could patch it away, but it doesn't matter. But this makes so no sense. I mean, even if you come from Sun Solaris, it doesn't make sense, right? With all the things Sun and Solaris is credited for forever doing, Sun4U is the whole architecture name for Sun for Ultra SPARC, right? Before we had Sun4C and Sun4M or whatever for the previous. Sun4U is this U probably stands for Ultra SPARC, but I didn't check that, but it would make sense. But that is freaking Ultra SPARC, right? That is at least here like Ultra 1, Ultra 2 or whatever, Ultra 5, like in terms of workstation. It's like, why do you map Sun4U to 32-bit SPARC and you map SPARC? I mean, this, and again, I've never seen that being used as a CPU like arch triplet name. Maybe Sun does, which is stupid, but maybe that's why they're out of business. But yeah, tell me you don't support it and then having such strange configure stuff from 20 years ago. Anyway, so it's like, yeah, that is stupid and that makes even less sense, so let's patch it away. And after all this debugging, that is actually all what was needed for that to build. Now we rebuild that again with all the other. The only thing is left is actually starting it, and I would need, I mean, obviously my desk is full with other stuff, including RISC-V. So I would need to make my desk free, carry an Ultra SPARC over here and stuff. Share, like, and subscribe. And I'm a little bit knowing that SPARC, knowing that PowerPC 32-bit segmentation faulted, I'm a little bit frightened. I'm a little bit, I don't want like, hey, if you don't test it, it ain't broken, right? So I'm a little worried to run this executable because it will probably not work. Because nowadays GCC needs to work, Clang needs to work, cbinder needs to work, Rust needs to work, and all the other stuff in between and left and right. Anyway, at least it builds now. That is one step. I mean, it's certainly a huge step for keeping support for that alive. And then it should, of course, I mean, at least it builds, and then as it builds already, we can then attach a debugger, and if you share, like, subscribe enough, step through it and see if it crashes. But hey, given that some years ago it actually did start with all the Rust stuff, maybe there is a chance that it would start. But yeah, share, like, subscribe. I hope to see you another day for actually testing the binaries. Comment below, will they work? Will they segmentation fault? Very theoretically, I mean, we could. The thing is, I theoretically had once upon a time, I could run that in Qemu. I actually started to test suite stuff. Probably stuff like that here. I had here some export display that. Run xvfb like that. Can we extern? Can extern? Probably, maybe. And then build, if we go to our 32-bit SPARC build, then take our Qemu SPARC 32 plus with change root here, and then I mean we could pre-test with user x11 bin extern. Maybe extern special. Let's try. Maybe do we need proc and stuff mounted? Alright, we might need authentication stuff. No, what? Let's maybe sbin ld config. That is unfortunate. It probably wants that one here. That worked. And then let's see. I don't have the highest. I mean, once upon a time, this is why I documented that in my working on test suiting this stuff, so that I can just run it and get some nice test suite stuff of, hey, that's broken. Mozilla lib. Firefox. Segmentation fault. Assertion fails. POSIX spawn. Read null. The thing is, you can't be sure, is that now some Qemu change root? What other builds do we have here? I mean, not that the MIPS build would be the most reliable to test that with. Okay, fine. We have x86, 23. Let's change root. Let's run this through Qemu just to debug whether this has a chance to work like that. Right, we don't have. This is not a full build. Alright, lib64. Okay, we need ld config probably. Okay, the good thing is this, hey, its segmentation faults the same. So given that Qemu, and that's the thing, right? I need more test suite, right? But do I have time for test suite? Nah, no. I spent already more time than I have to fix all the stuff. And after fixing comes test suite. Maybe we need to bind mount proc or so, or this. We could strace that now. Yeah, recurring theme should have. No, that also doesn't work. Maybe it just uses new features that don't work like Qemu like that. glib spawn, POSIX spawn. What was it? X strace, or what was it? It was strace. I mean, once upon a time I had this working, Qemu. Few tags. No such. Def null. Oh, it's just def null doesn't work. Okay. can give you dev proc this. If it only wants dev, maybe it does. Oh, it does more. Maybe that was what. Ah, permission net. What? Error while loading cross Linux. What if we don't know? Was just coming up. Segmentation fault. But that's now we are. Oh, it does more. But I mean, this is Qemu 664 x86, so. And this binary does work, right? So much to. Why do I collect all this vintage and retro hardware? Because testing in Qemu is so much fun. Previously it did work, but now let's just as a test see. Okay, this is also built with all the other fix. This is also PowerPC, and I wonder then if that fix actually. I mean, that would be such a phenomenal win-win if working on SPARC 64, SPARC version 9, noticing a typo in our PowerPC patch, that would be such a phenomenal win. Yeah, let's give this SPARC 6432 one more try, and then we call it a day, only to see if it continues so much further as the x86 version. Qemu, I should have SPARC plus change root. Oh no, this is libgcc as one needs to be installed for pthread exit to work. I mean, obviously we have that installed. Maybe it's just some directory confusing thing. I've never seen that before. That's amusing. The more interesting things then anyway will be real hardware. So yeah, we tested this. I mean, at least it is not instantly. I mean, that is all fixable, right? At least it's not randomly memory corrupting. It's other JavaScript type confusion and whatnot. And welcome everyone. Wish we knew more users of those old arches. Wish we knew how many users of these old arches you have. This work is interesting but not used. You might want to look at other projects you kernel. Not that all needs to use. Yeah, I mean, at least I want. I mean, it's not. Contrast to popular belief, it's not. I mean, you see it here, right? Some totally uneducated and unexperienced one-man developer can keep all this stuff working in his basement, and it's so laughable when it's going through the news sites. The Linux kernel is dropping 386, the Linux kernel is dropping SPARC version 7. Firefox is not even keeping PowerPC in a compiling state, and it's applauded by the crowds of public news of, hey, maintaining the code base so much easier because there's 5 files for PowerPC and this. But anyway, you're not wrong. But the good thing is, after 25 years and 5 years live on YouTube, increasingly everything that's somewhat reasonable is in an increasingly working state. And also we get more users, right? Obviously in the past we didn't have the most users, but now with all those fixes, there are more users. The only thing I should say is, of course, I'm aware that modern Firefox is not the fastest on vintage and retro hardware. That is one thing. And I wish, and also why I keep the T2 side minimal. Probably we should keep it more minimal. Or keep it, not more minimal, but we modernize it, so we should keep it loading on old browsers, right? I find it hilarious that you can't browse a normal news site in 2023 on, yes, it is vintage now, but a previously $10,000 or $20, $30, $40, $50,000 high-end CAD or 3D workstation, and you can't render a website. That is rather silly, in my opinion, but leave me in the comments below. But yeah, the more we have in a working state and fix, the better. And I just wanted this, like now that we have Rust, I wanted this vintage and retro architectures working. Certainly I should send some stuff upstream, because, I mean, of course it's the best if it's fixed in T2, but it's even better if it's also upstream. And then I don't probably need to keep it. All right, we had here MIPSO running. Probably want to have that running. Anyway, so yeah, that's the report for today. I hope you enjoyed this and learned something. As usual, it would mean a thing if you could share, like, subscribe, maybe drop a Patreon dollar or super thanks. More testing come, especially the 64-bit version has more chances to just work, so probably should get that out as well. Have a good day or night, and I hope to see you soon. I hope you learned something, and to see you soon for all the next fun stuff and fixes to come. Trebexit says, getting the formerly 50,000 euro machine not being able to run a website. Sure, I get the testament of technology advancements. However, I would say the modern technology is just so magnitudes orders of less efficient, right? Even if you take the same website like ours, it renders like an order of magnitude slower on a modern browser, right? Plus, in general, all the web architecture is highly inefficient, right? So much to, I would argue, even our modern technology should be, I mean, everyone should probably agree that modern web stuff is out of scope and not misguided and not built on shoulders of giants, but a foundation of recycled scrapyard technology, and a lot of things are designed, like not, a lot of web stuff is not properly designed and thought through, like basically clobbered together until something renders. And modern web and web browsers are just, I mean, even my example of a modern Firefox renders a static HTML site, like an unchanged, identical static HTML file from a decade or two ago, even slower and can't even scroll. I mean, sure, that's also the thing, right? Modern graphic stuff implemented in such a way that it's not even making use of previously generation 3D acceleration, right? And so, I mean, not even scrolling is smooth anymore because we unoptimized all the old GPU graphic code paths because we do everything in 3D. Who needs 2D acceleration anyway? So, anyway, just some more trip exit, less efficient, yes, but human effort simply more expensive than the hardware. Yeah, but is it really more efficient to work with modern web frameworks? I have my doubts with. I hear a lot of whining of modern web people, of whining all day long how crappy and unmaintainable their technology is. So I would not necessarily argue that the modern web stack is particularly easy to develop with and so on. So as much as dislike.
Hey,
we don't watch another video. No, you watched enough.
Nein, doch.
We go home now. We fixed enough stuff. You can say bye bye to our audience and wish them a good day or night. No, we go home now and have dinner. Junior, we go home and have dinner.
Mama?
Yeah. We don't watch movies all day. And it was an exception after we fixed Firefox.
Da.
No.
Da.
No, the video entertainment is over now. We go home and have dinner. We go home, on the way we get some groceries and then we cook ourselves some fine dinner.
9.
Yes, we do.
9.
Junior, you know that the whole world is listening. What tantrums you throw. So yeah, we have to go. It was nice chatting with all of you as usual. Don't forget the patronage and comments about the state of modern web technology. And I hope to see you soon. Yeah, what do you want to tell them?
Better.
Stop, bitte. Stop, please. Yes, of course. Well, we stop. You heard it here first. See you, old